Welcome to Augustana Sportscene. It's your weekly look inside Augie Athletics, and I'm your host, Carla Metts. Well, the Vikings had a successful week in conference play, and on this episode, we're going to talk with football head coach Jerry Olszewski and volleyball head coach Dan Meske about this past week and their upcoming games. We'll also talk with linebacker Brandon Mohr about the start of his senior season. But first, we're going to take a look back at last week's game, starting with Saturday's home game against Minot State. The Vikings were led by Justin Greenway, who had 211 all-purpose yards, including 76 passing and 92 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. Trey Hyde finished the day completing 23 of 36 passes for 324 yards with 3 touchdowns. Defense came out strong and held their opponents to 100 rushing yards for the 4th straight game. They were led by Brandon Mohr with 9 tackles and Jason Renda, who had 7 tackles. The Vikings ended up beating the Beavers 41-17. Sweeping was the theme for the volleyball team. They started their weekend with Upper Iowa, where Danny Magis led the team with 15 kills. Sydney Hunsley had 9 and Brittany Check followed with 6. The Vikings won their first 2 sets, 25-23, and finished the sweep with a 25-17 match win. The Vikings took on Winona State last Saturday. Magis led the team again with 13 kills, followed by Ivy Peterson with 12. Their first set was back and forth, but the Vikings pulled to an early lead on their second and third set, capturing another sweep for the season. The Vikings soccer team improved their record to 5-1-1 with a 2-0 win against Minnesota State Moorhead on Saturday. Sam Timkowitz and Kirsten Smith scored the team's 2 goals. The Vikings also beat Northern State 2-0 on Sunday with goals by Stephanie Stevens and Sam Timkowitz. The Vikings are now ranked number 23 in the nation. Well, after the break, we'll meet with Coach OJ to talk about the football team's latest win. We'll be right back.
Being part of a great team means you know your role and you work your role to the best of your ability. If you're consistently going to show up and be your best, you're going to be part of that team. You can see the success they have over time. It's not just 1 year flash in the pan. It's consistent success over time, which makes them great. And that's where the work ethic comes in. The ability to come into work, do the same thing repeatedly day after day after day, and putting your best foot forward is going to separate you from the rest.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Volkswagen Passat Limited Edition. Dollar for dollar, it's an amazing value. Let's add up the worth of its standard features, like a rear-view camera, keyless access, heated front seats, and more.
But what really tips the scales is that you get all this value for this surprisingly low price. That's $1,200 in savings. I usually hate being on scales, but this is nice.
At Graham Automotive, West 41st Street, Sioux Falls, or online at grahamvw.com.
You want more from your home improvement store? Don't waste your entire weekend wandering through a maze of aisles and crowds trying to find some newbie big box store employee who's avoiding you and your questions like Bigfoot avoids photographers. Head to Schoenemann's instead, where you'll find answers and everything you need without the hassle, hoopla, and headaches. From questions to complete projects, look to the experts at Schoenemann's, Sioux Falls, and Harrisburg.
Welcome back. The Vikings football team is 3-1 in the NSIC and just had a big win against Minot State, 41-17. Brad Peterson is with Coach OJ now to talk about the conference win and to get a look into next week. Brad?
All right, thanks, Carla. Jerry, how about that? For Kids Cancer, tell me a little bit what that was all about.
Well, through Sanford Health, we did an initiative called Brave Kids, Bold Cures, and myself and 3 players went to the KSFY studios and an attempt to raise awareness and raise some money for kids who are going through some major issues in their life and some health concerns, and it directly impacts our team. I have a family member who's going through that, as well as our kicker, Lucas Wayman's little brother Sam is doing a great job in his therapy and where he's at with things. So we're just excited to participate and help out, and I haven't had this cut since college, so it's a lot faster to get ready in the morning.
Oh, I know the feeling. You also heard from some old teammates.
I did, yeah, they're loving it. Yeah, it's amazing what social media can do. They're like, oh, you look 20 years younger. What are you, 62 now? So it's great.
And I understand about $2,500 raised too, and again, Augustana continues to support such an initiative.
Yeah, it's a great partner. You know, we have a phenomenal partner in Sanford, and Augie people just in general are such a great community and aware of our surroundings, so I'm just pleased that we could take part in it.
For a minute here, I just want to soak in, because that's an opportunity to soak in what Augustana does in this community with Sanford and children and you know, kids of all ages. But in this facility that's behind us here on a Monday morning and the sun's coming up, you really do count your blessings as a coach and a coach in this opportunity at Augustana.
I do, and not a day goes by that I don't pray when I pull into that parking lot right there and just thank the Lord that we have what we have, and we're to be good stewards of those facilities and make sure that as we're on our watch of doing what we're supposed to do, we're doing it to the best of our ability. And our kids represent our program incredibly well. They're very, very proud to be at Augustana University, and when you have the partners that we have that go back a long way, there's a certain amount of pride and an understanding of humbleness too that goes into to do the job right, and that's a wonderful place to be.
Well, a two-game homestand here at Kirkby-Over Stadium started last Saturday against Minot State. Off to a great start. You've emphasized again making sure you play clean, you play smart. A good start is great, but the finish is also important.
And that's the two things we talked about, focus and finish. You know, I thought our focus was off the week previous, just didn't hit on all cylinders and didn't play a great football game, inefficient in a lot of ways. Addressed it all week long about start fast, play efficient football, play good, clean football, and I thought we did it. It was a very pedestrian day. You know, we got the ball, we went down the field 11 plays and scored, got the ball, got three and out, went down the field 11 plays and scored, and I'm just proud of the focus our kids had, and at the end of the day, really played a fairly mistake-free game. Is there things you clean up on? No question. In any ball game, we're going to clean some stuff up, some silly penalties. We only had 4 penalties, and 2 of them were on special teams, which is just, I couldn't sleep last night. It bothered me so much. So we'll get that cleaned up. But other than that, I thought it was a really efficient and clean football game by our team.
Getting off to a good start, and that focus in the beginning, like you said, the week before, just didn't seem like it was there. How important is it? We often focus on offensive tempo and setting a tempo right away, but let's talk defensively, how important and how big a key that might be versus what it is offensively.
Well, for us right now is incredibly important because we hadn't started fast in the last 2 ball games. You know, we gave up a length of the field touchdown right down the field, and that's not the kind of football we can play. So we challenged our defensive players, and our staff did a super job of saying we got to create our own tempo, you know, and create field position for our offense, and we did that, and that was just great to see because the kids took it to heart. You know, it's always a great thing as a coach when you start hearing your kids talk your language. They're saying the things that you say to them. So I'm really proud of how we executed and how they took it to heart and really made that happen during this game.
And Trey Hyde, again, distributing the ball, 8 different Vikings catching the football on Saturday. And, man, it really, I think, helped that running game, too.
Absolutely. You know, Trey had a very, very solid day. I thought on his day he looked at, you know, he threw the ball where he's supposed to throw it. He threw it in an efficient manner. He didn't try to throw the ball downfield when he didn't need to, and he moved the pocket with his feet. A couple of those sacks were just weird sacks, you know, a protection breakdown that shouldn't have happened. But I thought he had a very good day and great numbers and led our team well.
Justin Greenway, 211 yards and all-purpose, and not a bad tackle.
Yeah, what a day for him. You know, and Justin and Jason are talented. I keep getting asked this question about, you know, their role on the team. Their role is exactly what they're doing. You know, they're more than just special teams players. And Justin had one of those great games that we've seen at practice all the time. And he's such a great compliment to C.J. Ham that I'm really pleased with the day he had. You know, he got out of the chutes and had an opportunity to make some plays and took advantage of those opportunities. Every time that his number was called, he made a big play.
All right, so the South Division really had another good cross-divisional play against the North. You take a look at the South Division right now, and there's 6 teams within 1 game of one another. Yeah,
that's what we anticipated going into this stretch right now. The way I see it, the first quarter's over, and we're going into quarter 2 now. We're down 7-zip. You know, we stumbled once, but now the race is on, and we got to make sure that we play solid, sound football. I truly believe in my heart, Brad, that this is going to be a team that crescendos towards the end of the season, that we're going to be getting better as we go forward. Because we're so young, and you watch the mistakes come out early, I just believe that we're going to be that kind of team. But we need to get better fast against a 4-0 Southwest team and welcome them to KO Stadium.
All right, best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks so much, Brad. Fight on.
The Vikings take on Southwest Minnesota State here at Kirkby-Over Stadium at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Well, when we return, we're going to meet with volleyball head coach Dan Meske to talk about his team's success this past weekend. We'll be right back.
Moms and dads, want to make sure that your kid is prepared for school picture day? First order of business, our clothes. Help them pick out clothes and colors that look good on them. Because sometimes a picture shows more than just this, you know?
After all, you're gonna have that picture forever.
Remember, smiles are like French fries. They're better when they're fresh. Bottom line, the Life Touch team will make sure everything runs smoothly. So picture day will be fun and exciting for everybody.
Noah, are you about ready to go?
Don't forget your football.
Thanks, Mom.
You promised to never miss a game, and with iMed Mobility, you never have to. From handicap accessible vans to wheelchair lifts and driving aids, iMed makes it easier to be there for all of life's important moments. iMed Mobility, providing life-changing experiences for all our customers.
Need a new water softener?
I'm on it.
Dude, don't do it yourself.
No?
No. Leave it to the experts. Just say, hey, Culligan man.
Save salt, energy, and water with a $39.95 water softener. Inspect and check on any brand.
The Vikings volleyball team is on a roll after sweeping Upper Iowa and Winona State this past weekend. Head coach Dan Meske joins Brad Peterson to talk about the highlights and what's ahead for Vikings volleyball.
All right, Dan, big week. You get a big road victory at Wayne State, and then you come home, take on Upper Iowa, kind of flatten that match, and then a big win against Winona State. 3 wins in the week. Surmise it.
Yeah, it was. We look back on that, and we talked on Saturday after we beat Winona and just said there were a lot of ups and downs in the week. You know, Upper Iowa, as you said, was kind of a down for us, but there's a lot to be said for just gutting out the week. And when you look at our body of work, we were really, really proud of the effort that we put in. So getting through, you know, everybody in the conference played 3 times last week, and very few went through the week without losing a match. So for us, we're really proud of the effort we put in, and we're going to learn from the things that we didn't do well against Upper Iowa and try to get better this week for a good effort against Concordia Mankato.
You're a team right now that really isn't hitting percentage-wise, doing very well, maybe middle of the pack, anywhere from 236 to 240, depending. But say junior Danny Magis from Superior, Wisconsin, a big week with 15, 15, and 13 kills.
Yeah, so, you know, our hitting percentage is kind of, like you said, hit or miss, and we feel like our defense should kind of anchor us. So whether we're, you know, firing on all cylinders with our offense or we're struggling like we did against Upper Iowa, we want to find ways to get kills, and Danny's a perfect example of that. Danny, you know, it was great to see her have such a great week because we talked a lot about her mentality in particular with the rest of our team. If you come and watch Danny play, you'll see a kid that has absolutely no fear. She bombs away into the other team's block and really doesn't care if she gets blocked because she feels like our back row is going to cover her, and more often than not that ball ricochets off their block and she's pretty successful.
Well, let's talk defensively. Let's talk block. Let's talk back row defense. Back row defense, obviously, with Taylor Banks back there as a great digger. Let's just talk about that and what it has meant so far through this first month.
Yeah, you know, Taylor's somebody that we can really depend on as an anchor for our back row. You know, she's typically leading every match in digs, so it's awesome to have that from your libero. Now, what we've started to see is we've subbed Ivy Pearson into our other outside spot and gone from more of an offensive outside with Lauren Waite to more of a defensive outside with Ivy. So with Ivy and then Brittany Check, who's still in the lineup, we feel like we have 3 really good defensive players, and that's part of the reason we made that switch, was just to get some more ball control and defense on the court. Now with our block, we definitely have some room for improvement there.
Also, Ashley Wilson coming back. She played 1 match last week, and then she had a chance to really get into the groove in this past week.
Yeah, Ashley really opens things up for us. She's a really dynamic attacker. She's a great personality to have out on the court, and you know, she's a player that the other teams have to key on. So when that happens, that just opens up things for the rest of our players, and we feel like that attacking percentage is going to go up the more that she's in the match.
With 9 upperclassmen on this team, one of the positions that you find you've got great strength is in your setting.
Yeah, setting is a really, really bright spot for us. We're really confident in all 3 of our setters. Unfortunately, in the system we play, we can only play 2. But you know, when we have a match like Upper Iowa, you know, sub Marissa Johnson in, and she really had a huge impact on the match. So with not only the setters, our whole team, we talk about a total team effort, but in particular with that position, we are really confident starting and playing any 3 of those setters.
And again, Marissa Johnson, Anna Sikora, and Alex Banker. And Anna comes in also with some Division I background too.
Yeah, so she gave the Division I thing a try and then kind of came back closer to home. And you know, whether it's Division I experience or not, we feel like all three of those setters, they just really give us a great opportunity to score points and win.
All right, this week at St. Paul and Mankato, Concordia St. Paul will be a big one, and then Mankato on Saturday afternoon.
Concordia is, you know, I think that's the one that our players have circled in their calendar. And for us, our challenge is to get them focused equally on both opponents. So we know Mankato has done an awesome job this year. They've played a lot of really good teams tough, and you know, we're going to do the best we can to prepare for Mankato early in the week. We play them on Saturday, and then we'll gear up for Concordia on Thursday. It's a pretty cool opportunity to play such a legendary coach in Brady at Concordia, so we're looking forward to that.
They had a 3-win week. They've got 9 total on the season. They're a top 10 type of team.
Absolutely, and you know, their record may not reflect how well they play the game. They challenge themselves a lot in preseason, so when you do that, you're gonna drop a match here or there when you're challenging yourself, you know, week in and week out. So for Concordia, we know we're gonna get a great effort from them, and our girls are gonna be jacked up to play.
They're also another good hitting team.
Absolutely. So you know, their coach has been there a long time, and he's been doing it at a high level. And when you do that, you get a lot of consistency with your offense and your setters, and they do it as well as anybody in our conference.
And then Saturday afternoon at Minnesota State against Mankato, this is only their second home match, and so they'll be in a strange position.
Yeah, it's interesting, and for us, we haven't been on the road a whole bunch, so it'll be new for both teams. They have a great new coach, running Mankato as well. So again, one of the more difficult weekends in our conference. So we need to just have a good week of prep and give it a great effort on Friday and Saturday.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brad. The volleyball team plays their next 2 games away. They play Concordia St. Paul on October 2nd and Minnesota State on October 3rd. Well, after the break, we're going to introduce you to a defensive leader for the Augie football team. This is Augustana Sportscene. We'll be right back.
Being part of a great team means you know your role and you work your role to the best of your ability. If you're consistently going to show up and be your best, you're going to be part of that team. You can see the success they have over time. It's not just 1 year flash in the pan. It's consistent success over time, which makes them great. And that's where the work ethic comes in. The ability to come into work, do the same thing repeatedly day after day after day, and putting your best foot forward is going to separate you from the rest.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Volkswagen Passat Limited Edition. Dollar for dollar, it's an amazing value. Let's add up the worth of its standard features, like a rear-view camera, keyless access, heated front seats, and more.
But what really tips the scales is that you get all this value for this surprisingly low price. That's $1,200 in savings. I usually hate being on scales, but this is nice.
At Graham Automotive, West 41st Street, Sioux Falls, or online at grahamvw.com.
You want more from your home improvement store? Don't waste your entire weekend wandering through a maze of aisles and crowds trying to find some newbie big box store employee who's avoiding you and your questions like Bigfoot avoids photographers. Head to Schoenemann's instead, where you'll find answers and everything you need without the hassle, hoopla, and headaches. From questions to complete projects, look to the experts at Schoenemann's, Sioux Falls and Harrisburg.
Need a new water softener?
I'm on it.
Dude, don't do it yourself.
No?
No. Leave it to the experts. Just say, hey, Culligan man.
Save salt, energy, and water with a $39.95 water softener. Inspect and check on any brand.
Welcome back. Well, we give you updates from the coaches on the latest games, but we also want to give you an inside look at the athletes that you gather to watch. You know number 47 on the field as a linebacker and a defensive leader for the Augie football team, but here's a look under his helmet with Bill Gross and Brandon Mohr.
Brandon Mohr, outstanding Augustana linebacker, a senior, number 47 for the Vikings. We're up here in the press box at Kirkaby Over Stadium, the site of many thrilling moments for Brandon, and last year he led the Vikings with 106 tackles and was named to the All-NSIC team. You've had a great career, Brian. Talk about the past years here first.
Well, it's been very exciting since I transferred down to Augustana. I've had a good time here playing linebacker and a little bit of defensive end, and had some great memories here at the stadium, so it's exciting.
Yeah, and his dad, Brian, we believe, here in 1990 grad of Augustana, played for Jim Heinitz here and was an outstanding player too. I believe was center, correct, on the team. So It's kept in the family here with Brandon. Well, Brandon, this season the Vikings into fall camp, and as we film this, we have 3 games under our belt, and we started out up at Bemidji State, and a great win for the Vikings. Talk about your thoughts on that game as a team and defensively.
Oh, definitely. Ended fall camp, went up there, first game of the year. No one really knows what each other is going to do as far as different offensive schemes and whatnot. So we went up there. It was a tough physical battle. It was a night game, so there's a lot of sitting around during the day waiting for kickoff. And like I said, it was a physical game. They scored some points on us early, and then we kind of got things figured out defensively. Our offense did tremendous that game, balanced running and passing attack, and we were able to come out with a victory, so it was exciting.
Great first win for the Vikings on the road, 35-14 at Bemidji. And then we came home opener at Kirkby Over Stadium, big crowd, beautiful day, taking on what's perennial been a very good St. Cloud State team. And it was a good football game, the Vikings winning 41-27. Again, your thoughts both for the team and defensively.
Oh, it was a very back and forth game. A lot of us that were here 2 years ago when we went up to St. Cloud, and we lost up there to a very good St. Cloud team that year. They made the playoffs, so we had a lot of that in the back of our mind. And coming back here, it was great to come home. Big crowd, like you said. It was a fantastic day, great day for football. And it was exciting. They kind of drove the ball on us and had some long touchdown drives, and were able to get it in. And then when finally in the second half we were able to get some stops, and our offense kept pounding. I know Charlie Hayes had a record day through the air there, so that was very exciting.
Yeah, and then last Saturday here, the Vikings went up to Minnesota State Moorhead. It was a wild one. Unfortunately for us, we came out on the short end, 35-34. Your thoughts on that game?
It was pretty frustrating, really. They're a very good offensive team, and we just couldn't quite get it figured out defensively. Our offense showed some glimmers of greatness out there, but wasn't able to get it in all the time. Lucas Wainman did have a very good day, kicked 2 field goals, and probably could have had an opportunity for one at the end there to try and tie it up, but things didn't really bounce our way that day. So.
Well, the Vikings, as we film this, 3 games in, and Brandon, defensively, how you feeling about the team at this point in the season?
We got a lot of young guys on our defense, especially in the front 7. We have 2 senior linebackers, but don't have a whole lot of starting experience in Steve Miller and Jackson Rinda, so they're kind of getting things dialed in. And then up front, we don't have any returning starters other than Bryson Hamilton on the defensive line, so we have a lot of guys rotating in there and playing, getting game experience. So I think we're kind of building as we go right now.
Right, and just one step at a time now. You've primarily been a linebacker during your days at Augustana, and what do you like about playing linebacker?
It's the quarterback of the defense. You're just out there being a leader. The D-line usually holds up the offensive line and allows you to run in and make tackles, and you're kind of freelancing out there, so it's pretty exciting.
What's your favorite part of the game?
I'd say big hits. I don't know. I like hitting people, be able to take your aggression out on people, and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, and you've had some big ones along the way. How about you haven't had too many? You've had some fumble recoveries. I think you've got had an interception last season. That's got to be exciting too.
Oh, definitely. I'm primarily a run-stopping linebacker. However, when I can step back and make an interception and do something in the pass game, it gets pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, you do everything pretty well. Well, let's move on into the future plans here. What's your major, and what are you thinking about doing?
Currently, I'm a physical education, health education, and all grades education major. So I'm looking at going into the teaching world. Primarily right now, my goal is to go get my master's afterwards and pursue a GA spot here at Augustana coaching football.
Well, that's fantastic, and we've had some of our former players here with us. I think we have Jake Lee with us right now, and that'll be great. Just to finish up here, your thoughts on your time at Augustana?
Oh, it's been a great time. I don't regret coming here by any means. I've made a lot of great friends, had a lot of fun opportunities playing teams in this stadium, and there's a lot of sweet memories here, and it's been exciting.
And we've got a lot of memories to make yet, Brandon, so good luck to you and the Vikings.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Well, we're going to meet up with more Augie athletes later this season. When we return, we're going to take a look at what you can expect for the upcoming week. Be sure to stay tuned. You're watching Augustana Sportscene.
Moms and dads want to make sure that your kid is prepared for school picture day?
First order of business are clothes.
Help them pick out clothes and colors that look good on them. Because sometimes a picture shows more than just this, you know?
After all, you're gonna have that picture forever.
Remember, smiles are like French fries. They're better when they're fresh. Bottom line, the Life Touch team will make sure everything runs smoothly. So picture day will be fun and exciting for everybody.
Noah, are you about ready to go?
Don't forget your football.
Thanks, Mom.
You promised to never miss a game, and with iMed Mobility, you never have to. From handicap accessible vans to wheelchair lifts and driving aids, iMed makes it easier to be there for all of life's important moments. iMed Mobility, providing life-changing experiences for all our customers.
Need a new water softener?
I'm on it.
Dude, don't do it yourself.
No?
No. Leave it to the experts. Just say, hey, Culligan man.
Save salt, energy, and water with a $39.95 water softener inspect and check on any brand.
Being part of a great team means you know your role and you work your role to the best of your ability. If you're consistently going to show up and be your best, you're going to be part of that team. You can see the success they have over time. It's not just 1 year flash in the pan. It's consistent success over time, which makes them great. And that's where the work ethic comes in. The ability to come into work, do the same thing repeatedly, day after day after day, and putting your best foot forward is going to separate you from the rest.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
And here's a look at the upcoming week for your Vikings. Keep up with all the latest information on the Vikings at GoAugie.com. I'm your host, Carla Metts. We'll see you next week.